Will the real Slim Shady please stand up? According to the internet, that would be the Hunger Games star Tom Blyth, who has most definitely seen those fan edits comparing his young Coriolanus Snow to Eminem. In prequel The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, the English actor goes through some physical transformations as his story darkens, including shaving his billowing blonde locks down to a buzz cut when he becomes a peacekeeper. And, well, the social media edits of Coriolanus and the Lose Yourself rapper have been plenty. The young British boy that I once was a fan of Eminem, so I guess I'd take it as a compliment. Blyth, 28, tells EW with a laugh. Blyth actually shaved his natural brown hair down to a buzz cut, occasionally wearing a blonde wig over his bleached head since scenes were filmed out of order. It felt freeing, he says. It's a great way, both as human and actor, to shed some layers to get to the core. The Billy the Kid actor plays an 18-year-old Coriolanus, a role originated on screen by Donald Sutherland in the prequel. Moviegoers find themselves at the 10th annual Hunger Games, a spectacle wherein 2 children from each of Panem's 12 districts are forced to fight to the death as punishment for a past insurrection. Coriolanus must mentor District 12 female tribute Lucy Gray Baird, Rachel Zegler. Indifference between the two gives way to love, with the film presenting a softer side of the pre-tyrannical president. For Blyth, it was an obvious choice to take a psychological deep dive into one of his favorite characters from author Suzanne Collins' world. I've heard a lot of people saying, why should we tell this man's story? And I'm like, okay, first off, he's not real, Blyth quips. The beauty of fictional characters is you get to look at parts of humanity that are difficult to understand. You're able to empathize. Indeed, don't be too alarmed when you find yourself rooting for Coriolanus despite knowing how his story plays out. Blyth, too, mourned the character arc, sharing that portraying the future tyrant on the precipice of Breaking Bad occasionally took a mental toll, notably when filming one particularly intense scene towards the end of the story in the woods. I lived in his body for quite a while, and he goes through so many different, subtle transformations, Blyth offers. To be with him in that moment of breaking down, that rage bubbling up inside him, which is then going to inform the rest of his life, I felt heartbroken for him. I wanted him to choose the righteous path. The environment also lent itself to the story's intensity. The first scene Blyth filmed was an eerie night shoot at Centennial Hall in Wrocław, Poland, which served as the game's arena and a venue previously used by Adolf Hitler to rally Nazi support prior to World War II. There was this tangible feeling of terror in there, Blyth recalls. I think that energy lives in spaces sometimes, so to be there to tell this story about the rise of a tyrant was something I felt came into the performance. Throughout the film, Coriolanus is pulled in 2 directions, toward the goodness of loved ones, including Cousin Tigress, Hunter Schafer, and toward the darkness of the game's architects, Volumnia Gaul, Viola Davis, and Casca Highbottom, Peter Dinklage. Volumnia, particularly, shapes the man he becomes. Blyth and Davis build a rapport by bonding as former pupils of Juilliard, telling tall tales and horror stories of training in the same intense institution, Blyth says. We found out that we had some of the same teachers years apart who had been there for so long. Though the cast was initially intimidated by the Oscar winner, Davis immediately put them at ease. She makes every actor who works with her better, and Peter does the same, Blyth says.